Remember when this was the best delivery method for music? Remember when this was the best delivery method for supplements? Every industry evolves and improves with new breakthroughs in science and technology. Here at Numi, we've used a proprietary technology to solve an issue that's been around since nutritional supplementation began: the problem of absorption. So many of today's supplements are less effective due to their inability to be absorbed naturally by the body. Using our own proprietary hydrostat nano delivery breakthrough, we reduce the particle size of critical nutrients smaller than ever before, allowing them to absorb in your mouth while swishing for 30 seconds or more. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's responsible for boosting your energy, detoxifying cells, reducing inflammation, and boosting the immune system. If glutathione is so amazing, why have you never heard of it? Because glutathione is extremely fragile, and if taken orally, it will be destroyed via the digestive process, rendering it virtually useless to the body, until now. NutraSwish applies nanotechnology to achieve maximum absorption. Now, glutathione and other nutrients can be absorbed simply and quickly by swishing in the mouth instead of being destroyed in the stomach. Using this same nanotechnology, we've created the ultimate skincare product, Numi Skin. We've been able to achieve unparalleled absorption for key ingredients, including collagen, hyaluronic acid, and more. Some of the top skin experts in the world work together to create the ultimate blend of skin-enhancing nanonutrients, creating the most amazing before and after results. With our nano solution, you no longer have to wait months to experience the effects of skincare and supplementation. Our customers are noticing a difference within a matter of days. Don't wait to look, feel, and live your best life. A new you starts with Numi.
Hi, welcome back to another Dr. Shante video. This video is basically sharing what I do for general health maintenance. Well, in addition to just eating healthy, I take supplements. I take them habitually. The first supplement on the list is a multivitamin. A good multivitamin from A to zinc. That is what I take. I take it in the form of a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, but a multivitamin is suffice. The next thing is I take omega-3. I don't do the fish oil cap. I do this in a liquid because this is one of the 3 macronutrients that we need, right? We need carbohydrates, proteins, fatty acids. Okay, that's how I do that. In addition to taking a probiotic, I take prebiotics. I may take the prebiotics more frequently than the probiotics, and I can go over later the why to that. And I also take digestive enzymes. Those are the main things I take. Additional supplements that I take a superfood powder, and I have this much of water inside of the bottle before I put like 1 or 2 teaspoons of that powder in there. I'll make a separate video talking about it because it has so much benefit, but this is also something that I use on a daily basis. The definition of a holistic view is that all aspects of people's needs, psychological, physical, and social, should be taken into account and seen as a whole. Holistic relationships is leading the charge and sparking real conversations that transcend the ordinary, aiming not only to explore life's intricate facets, but also to inspire positive change and cultivate better approaches to every topic we touch. In the realm of love and relationships, marriage and divorce, parenting struggles and single parenting triumphs, toxic relationships, and the liberating journey out of codependence, our goal is crystal clear. We are architects of change, crafting blueprints for better, more holistic relationships that stand the test of time. This isn't just a show or podcast. It is a movement. Each show is an invitation to recalibrate one's perspective, to rethink conventional norms, and to embark on a journey towards a more fulfilling life. From the nuanced dance of co-parenting to the empowering pursuit of self-confidence, we are here to guide you towards positive transformation, empowerment of self and others, setting goals, building legacies, and collecting fortune with purpose. Holistic relationships is more than a show, it's a philosophy. We navigate the complex terrain of aging gracefully and achieving optimal health and weight loss, shedding light on compatibility in relationships and imparting wisdom on the art of dating and courtship. Join us as we forge a community committed to positive change, where every conversation is a catalyst for growth, every revelation is a step towards understanding, and every piece of advice is a key to unlocking a more holistic and fulfilling life. Welcome to Holistic Relationships, where the pursuit of better, more meaningful connections begin, and positive change is not just encouraged, but celebrated. So I'm getting ready to go say goodbye to my cousin. And I started thinking about some stuff and just wondering, like, as we're thinking about getting older, and if you're like me over 40, you have just as many years behind you as you may have in front of you, right? And I just thinking about that death, loss, and having to say goodbye to the people that we grew up with, that more of that is gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. That's just where we are in this age or in this phase of our lives. So I just want to say to the young people that's watching this, remember to live. It's cliche to say that life is short. Yeah, we know that. But if I can give something back to you from what I've gathered, it's just, if you can work on yourself and improving yourself in any way, do so. It's worth it, because it'll better yourself and the relationships that you have with people. And in the end, that's what you're going to value. Your relationships with people, be it romantic, family, partnerships, business, your relationships with people. Live your life. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm just saying live your life. Take that vacation that you've been wanting to go. Maybe you don't have a boo. Go by yourself. Open that business. Go get that degree. Because as I'm preparing for this funeral and celebrating somebody's life and witnessing their end of life, it's, if we could just remember to live. remember to live. And lastly, forgive. Forgive that parent that didn't do it quite right. Didn't know. There's no guide to parenting, and now that some of us are parents, we're not going to always get it right. We're going to make mistakes. Forgive them. Forgive that sibling or cousin that, forgive them. You were 8, okay, and it was just a toy. Or so what, they lied on you and everybody got the whooping. So let it go. You know how many people still lie on you till this day? Let it go. And forgive yourself. Hindsight is 20/20. You didn't know. You didn't know that you had to co-parent with a douche. All right. Forgive that ex-spouse, ex-significant other. Forgive them. People be peopling. And that's just life. Forgive. Let it go. Let it be in the past. Move on and continue to live. Take this opportunity to live. Yeah. That's what I would say. Just take the opportunity to live. Keep living. That's what the elders would say. Keep on living, baby. Keep on living. Welcome to the very first holistic relationship. I'm Dr. Shantae, and I have been waiting for the right moment to launch this show. It's bigger than a podcast. I'll definitely probably make components of it to be a podcast, but it's not a podcast. It's a show, a discussion on real topics that we want to have these conversations of. And I didn't know what I wanted to start off with. I have so many things that I've written down. I didn't know where to begin. Like, which one is the pilot? Which one launches this whole thing? Which one kicks off this? And I was moved today to pick the topic on midlife crisis. This is a part 2. It's actually 2 parts to this. And it's fitting because it may have been the discussion that prompted me to even do this in the first place. Now that I think about it, it was a journal entry that I made last March of 2023. Back when my cousin was nearing her end of life. She had become terminally ill with cancer. She had been placed in hospice. And that's how the topic kind of came into play with all the things that I was thinking and feeling in that moment. Just a few weeks prior, a board member from the school board where work passed away, a mentor. I felt that. And then a few years ago with my dad, so the whole thing about midlife crisis as it relates to life and loss. This is part 1. That's what this is that we're in now. And then the part 2 of it being the vanity. So that's what brought all of this about. Started with just a verbal journal entry where I was venting about what I was feeling in that moment, just to get it off of my chest and be real about what I was feeling in that moment. So yeah, that's pretty much how it started. It started with a journal entry. Yeah. So let's get on into it. And I'm going to also say that after this one, I will invite people on for a panel discussion because I would like feedback and see how others feel about this topic and some of the things that I've mentioned within this topic. So we're realizing our age, and the people around you that you grew up with, your parents, cousins, siblings, passing on when they're at their end of life. Ugh. It's evident that they're at their end of life, and you're having to face that. Being in this place of, oh my God, people that I knew, people that maybe you went to high school with has passed on. Granted, we're not promised tomorrow, and any one of us can leave here after 3 days of life. I've had a child that passed on. After 3 days, he lived for 3 days. I have a family member now that's 102, going on 3. So you never know what your destiny is, how long you're going to be walking this earth. We don't know that. It can be as little days as a few days or over 100 plus years. But what we're talking about specifically here, and it brings your own mortality in question when your loved ones are coming to their end of life. Because death is so permanent. My family member, my cousin Tammy, that passed away last April. I mean, she had a hard life. And it was one of those lives where she was kind of out there in the streets. And we used to always fear about her not coming back. Fear that maybe she would overdose on something, or fear that she will be found somewhere, or fear that she'll be found in a dumpster, fear that that her body would be found somewhere, or fear that just of the many things and variables of what can happen to women when they're on drugs and they're out there. I mean, like out there. That was her life, and we did fear that she would come into our life and come back, come into our life and come back. But I will say, oh, she was such a wonderful family member that would help you in any way she could. She helped all of us. And it was always such a pleasure and a privilege to see her, to interact with her at family functions, with full of life and full of energy. She loved life. I mean, contagious laugh, distinctive laugh. And I really do miss that. I just miss hearing her laugh. So I knew that by the time I got to this topic, that she would have passed on. And maybe I waited for that reason because we were preparing for her. Just seeing how this, when you get to an age where the people that you grew up with and around you, and she was only 10 years older than me. Only 10 years older than me. It's just, wow, my gosh. But of course, I know she lived a hard life, and it was a little on edge. But she had a mentality going into this when she was fighting this cancer. She said, I'm going to give it my best shot. And when it's my time, it's my time. So she had the right positive mentality going into it. And she came into full acceptance of what was happening. It was just us that wasn't ready to let go. So I only got a chance to really see her twice in hospice. And I expected her to look a lot worse when I first went to see her, but she was, and then when she ended up in the hospital, I remember she made this joke. It's one of the last things I heard her say, and I'm so grateful that I got a chance to spend that time with her. It was her, me, and another one of my cousins. We were in the emergency room for her, and they were just accommodating me and my other cousin. And then my cousin Tammy went, well, we just got some beautiful people in our family. They coming in. It's just, I just miss her. Even though she wasn't around all the time, it was one of those things where you expect her to always come back with, It's just that I grew up with her, that's all. And you have those family members where they may be distant relatives and they pass away. Maybe it's not as affect you as much, but when it hits so close to home. That's the thing. When it hitting so close to home. And that's why it's sort of a midlife crisis that you realize that the people around you, they're getting older, they needing your help. They were once strong, maybe was once strong, and now they're needing you. And now if you get into a predicament, you're looking around you trying to figure out who can help you if you get this stuff. And it's just one of those things, one of those realizations as you excel. That's just part of the whole midlife crisis. You just get to a certain age and you're like, oh my God. A really good friend of mine, he likes to say he realized that when he got to a certain age, the cavalry is not coming, because you once had your parents, you may have had a strong aunt, a well-off uncle, somebody else. And as you see them die and they're getting older and weaker, it's you just look up, and I'm like, oh my God, I looked up, I have become the auntie. It's because I'm with the aunties I still have, and mom, and they're gonna need me. They're going to need me now. And so I check up on them, and so that's why it's like, oh my God, I have become the auntie. Whew. Yeah. So that has me thinking about this, thinking about life, and that's the midlife crisis of it all. We're already, and you're feeling like, oh my God, life has become real, and it's a different kind of life that you have to navigate through, because the people you grew up with, they're gone. And you're fortunate enough and blessed enough to still be here and to still be amongst the living. It is certainly an honor and a privilege to gain more years. But it does, your own mortality does come to question, and it makes you feel some kind of way, because you're like, oh my God, life is really lifing right now. So you're like, what? It's just something when you were young and and we all get here. I know that the people who have already passed, and they're past, but what I'm talking about, they've come to this, and they've come to this in some way in their mind. They've wrapped their minds around it. I feel like, man, I know I'm preaching to the choir for those who've already been here, done that. They already done passed go and collected $200. But as far as me getting there, and those of us who are approaching that time, where, like I'm always saying, where we have just as many years behind us as we have ahead of us. I mean, it is so real, and it's just, yeah, I know I keep saying that, but I guess I'm trying to keep finding the words for it. And I mean, and that's what this whole topic about the midlife crisis is. And we're just trying to figure out what life is now, what it's like when you're in your 40s and your 50s and you're in your midlife. Yeah, if you say 50 isn't necessarily the midlife crisis when you have average life expectancies in the 60s and 70s, right? So if they're passing around in the 60s and 70s, then midlife is what, 30, 35? Are we in a new senior citizen? You know, just all jokes. But wrapping your mind around the people who are close to you and those who are older than you, and as you're aging, and there are people, and you know, it was something new for our family last year. It was new for me, certainly, in our family, new for our generation, that we had someone that was so close to us that was nearing their end of life. And it doesn't matter what she did in her life, because the first thing people would say, well, she was using them drugs. And even if she wasn't, there are plenty of people. And I mean, a 3-day-year-old baby didn't have all of that going on. This person, that life, that soul was just as innocent as they came, but it came into this life with its complications in life, and he had to come to his end of life. And that is just something that's was just with all of us and with all things. Getting to that end of life. And it definitely, again, it brings into question your own mortality and just being able to be grateful for your life and trying to remember to live each day, to make each day count and do the things that you want to do in your life because of this very thing, that end of life. With death being all around us and with death being a part of life, that being the reminder to live your life and to do what you want to do. When it's done, it's done. And when you see other people get to this place, that place of their end of life, I remember when, my dad passed, I just miss calling him, miss talking to him. That board member that passed, my mentor, he was 70, but my cousin was just 51. My dad was just 61. Again, no bearing, it's on the ages. We don't know when we're living it, but it's really something. So yeah, this is the midlife crisis discussion and topic for this holistic relationships, midlife crisis, observing end of life within your own generation, colleagues, peers, family members, when it's close to you. But not to say it couldn't happen at any given stage, but specific to it being close to you when you're coming up into the age when you're going to see more of it and you're going to see more death as you are privileged to continue on in this life. At this age, we are going to see more of it, and we're going to have to say goodbye to more people that we knew and we loved in our lives as we get to approach that. So that's the reason. So next week, next part 2 of midlife crisis as it relates to vanity. When you're fit and you was fine and young and everybody was paying attention to you. And I'm talking about men and women alike. That's the next topic. We got to talk about it. That issue of vanity. When you start to see the grades, that mental transition you got to have for that. So we got to talk about it. I appreciate the time that you guys spent. Me all in your screen talking about midlife crisis, and I'm just glad that I got it started. So let me get my butt back out here and we can do the part 2 to this. I look forward for the conversations and any comments and things that you guys have. Please share. I look forward to it, and I will see you all in the next holistic relationship.